Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Duck Chatter. Boy, I sure hope everyone's been staying out of the heat or trying to deal with it the best they can. I know it has been hot here in Arkansas. I don't know about other places, but it's just been terrible. And if you're like me, you still want to go fishing, so I try to get out where the places where there's a good amount of shade to get into, get up early, or go out late in the evening and get on the water and try to catch a few fish. Anyway, what I got for you today is I had the pleasure going over to Union City, Tennessee to the new Excel plant over there and taking a tour of their facility. And it was awesome. I even got to test out a few boats while I was over there. But anyway, without further ado, here's the footage and I hope you enjoy.
Come on in. I want to welcome you to the Tennessee Excel boat plant. My name is Sam Sinclair. I'm the GM for the Arkansas and Tennessee plant. I want to give you a brief history about Excel and how we were founded. Glenn Foreman founded the company back in 2009. Prior to that, he formed a company called Mud Buddy Motors. Glenn is an avid hunter and fisherman, and he lives out in Salt Lake, Utah. And by the need, he developed the Mud Buddy motor, which is a shallow water motor. The water out there is shallow, so he needed something to get him to that special hunting spot, and that's how Mud Buddy became into creation. Glenn started selling motors to a little small company called River Trail Boats back in the early 2000s. And around 2009, the state of Arkansas got hit by a devastating F4 tornado, and that town of Clinton, Arkansas was devastated. It completely flattened the River Trail boat factory with that F4 tornado. So Glenn had a choice what to do, and he decided that he would get into boat manufacturing. And the reason he got into boat manufacturing, the family that owned River Trail was at a point that said, hey, we're just going to retire. We're not going to do boats anymore. So Glenn flew down and he met with the employees there and said, hey, if you stick with me, we'll build back bigger and better. And that's what he did back in 2009. And here we are in 2024. He's expanded to more than 95 dealers nationwide. The Mud Buddy company is spread out across the nation, and we send motors worldwide for the Mud Buddy company. But if you see the dots here, we've got 95 dealers nationwide, and we continue to expand even to today. Our factory is located in Mountain View, Arkansas. Primarily, they build duck boats and some catfish boats. Back in 2020, they were at full capacity. The markets were going crazy, and they were faced with what do we do next? So that's how Excel expanded over into Tennessee. The state of Tennessee worked really well with Glenn and the board to give some incentives to bring and locate a facility in Union City. So in 2020, they had, I think, a groundbreaking then. So what I'd like to do now is tell you a little bit about the product that you'll be seeing out on the floor when we go out for a little tour here in a minute. But when Tennessee came on board to manufacture boats, the first set of boats we were building here was a Stormcat and a Bay Pros. So that's what you'll see out there now. We have diversified our product line here in Tennessee to make us, like I said, more diversified. So we got some hunting boats that you'll see out there. You'll also see bass boats, and then a side console new boat that we have out called the Bolt, and we'll show you that as well. We also have a River Warrior, which is in 16 foot and 17 foot, and we'll also show you that as we're out there. So, you ready? Let's go. We'll start at incoming, what I call incoming receiving for the aluminum. Semi-trucks come in, we offload the aluminum onto the racks. All of our boats start with a flat stock sheet aluminum. We use no wood in our boats, it's 100% aluminum. So we pride ourselves with that. We're the only boat in the industry for bay boats that build it at 160 gauge. Once the order comes in, the engineer sends the files to the routers. One difference between the Arkansas plant and the Tennessee plant is Tennessee uses routers where Arkansas uses a plasma. The aluminum in Tennessee comes in on flat stock. The aluminum in Arkansas comes in on a rolled coil. So those are the two biggest differences between the Arkansas plant and the Tennessee plant. So as we walk over to the router, the way the router works is computer programmed, and it is extremely accurate. So in the boat building business, we want accuracy to be number one, along with safety. So we're putting quality into the boat that we build, and part of the key to that is repeatability. And the CNC routers are like down to the thousandths of an inch, so it's very repeatable. The parts are marked as they're produced, so they know where every part goes, and it matches the drawing when it gets over to the welding team and to the bending team. So from here, the parts are cut. If it's going to a full boat, they'll be stacked on a rack. Every individual rack has an order that comes with it. So it'll be the sales order and the quality sheet with all the quality checks that go from the beginning of the plant to the very end. That is in a traveler that travels along with the rack that you'll see here in a minute. The halves, the boats are cut into halves. So you have the port and the other side, starboard side. When we get those cut, then we'll go over to the press, and that's when they start taking the shape. These are your halves. So we'll take those two halves, and we'll have a team that comes over to this 32-foot press brake. It's one of the biggest press brakes in the nation by AccuPress, and that's where, again, it's computer programmed, got a laser that shoots down the middle, very accurate to where the bends are, because from beginning to end, I'll say it again and again, accuracy and repeatability is very important to excel. This is where the boats start taking shape. So the two halves of the holes, you can see over here, they've got the shapes to them. Excel's known for the dart in the side of their hole. You can see that in there. The smaller parts, the doors, the lids, any of the framing that we have in the boat, those smaller pieces go over to our small AccuPress where they're bent, again, to the exact specification that the engineer provides to the computer. Again, very repeatable. Nobody gets to work or run the AccuPress unless they've been to the off-site training in Dallas, Texas. Training is very important to excel, to make sure that everything's done right for our boats. So now you're walking into the hull welding. This is where the two pieces of the boat come together. We do two types of welding here. We do TIG welding and MIG welding. So if you look over here, we're welding up a Baypro 203, and on this jig we have a River Warrior. So right now he's doing the welding on that. So again, what we're doing at this part, this is what we call the parts table. So all those parts that were cut at the router, then they're bent over at the press brake, then come over to the parts table, and they're welding them up. So that's where all your lids come from, and this process is TIG welding. So this is what we call jig welding. This is where the two halves have come together, and this is where we start the assembly of the internal components of the Baypro or the Stormcat or the River Warrior or Bass Boat, whatever we're building. But typically an area would have a welder, a well-qualified trained welder, and a helper. So each spot has that. Basically what he's doing is putting in the ribs of the boat for structural support. One aspect of Excel that we really pride ourselves in is listening to the voice of the customer. We think that that's a critical component to the success of our company, and part of that we've listened to is having rigging tubes for the customers or the dealer when they say, I want to add a new graph or a new trolling motor, something like that. We run the tubes underneath the floor and they're stubbed out, and they also run a rope through there so they have a chase rope to pull the cords and wires for them. So just one of the things we do. So earlier on in the tour I talked about our Traveler. Traveler's got the sales order on it, who it's going to, the components go into it, but my favorite part of it is our quality check sheet. So every aspect of the product going from phase one through the very end has a detailed quality checklist that each individual has to fill out before it proceeds to the next area. Additionally, before the boat leaves the jig, we have quality inspectors come by and look at critical characteristics to make sure they're done correctly. So before they can move that boat off of that jig, quality has to sign off of it on this sheet. Once the boats come out of the cap out, which is the final quality inspection for the boat prior to going into paint, they get put on a rotisserie and then they travel over to the foam and sanding preparation. So with XL boats, every square inch, internal and external of the boat, is 100% sanded down. We put a lot of effort into making sure that our boats are blemish free on the outside and inside, because we want our boats, being an aluminum boat, to look like a fiberglass boat when they come out of the paint department. So we put a lot of effort in this department right here. I said 100% of the boat, I'm talking about 100% of the boat gets sanded inside and outside. After it's done with this part, it goes to paint, final inspection. At that point, we have an inspector with a Sharpie marker mark any minute detail that they see that they don't like. The average person would look at it and I say, I don't even see what you're looking at, but they're marking it, and then they'll sand it more to make it right. So again, we take safety very seriously here at XL. We add foam to our boats. In the event that a boat turns over, we want the family that's in it, the children that's in it, to have something to hang on to. If the boat turns over, our boats will float. So that's why we add foam to the boats. It's also a Coast Guard regulation, so for your safety, we add foam to the boats. So here at XL, besides using the Mud Buddy motors, we also our motor suppliers include Suzuki, Yamaha, Mercury, Tohatsu, and Honda. So we install all those motors on our boats. Complete rigging of the boat. So when you get the boat from us, all you really need to do is put gas in the boat and make sure you got it licensed and you're ready to hit the water. So with that said, we as XL are the only boating company in the nation that are licensed to paint the Sitka pattern of timber and marsh and the Drake pattern of old school. So we pride ourselves in being able to offer that to our customers. And believe me, they're very popular colors in the industry. It matches the hunters' clothing that they're wearing, and they blend in with the atmosphere, so it's really cool that we can offer that to our customers. We also have a color palette of about 30 different colors and combinations that we can paint the customer's boat. So anywhere from a yellow to purple to reds and whites, deep woods green, you name it, we can paint it your color, and different color combinations to go along with that. There's some show and tell samples that we use at boat shows and trying to show how XL stands above their competition. Again, I told you earlier in the presentation that we're the only manufacturer that uses 160 gauge aluminum on our Bay Pros. Competition uses 125 or 100. Again, we're 160. You got a very sturdy boat when you get an XL. All of our hunting boats are made out of 125. Our competitors, some make it out of 125, but a majority of them make it out of .080 or .100. So again, we're above the industry standard, but we're doing it for the customer to ensure they have a nice, safe, durable boat. Another thing, we want to be the industry standard or use the industry standard products in our boat. Quality is the most important, and safety, right? So we went with a company called Flow-Rite. It's like in the plumbing industry, it's like the shark bites. Once the parts go together, they're like a shark bite. The washers, they lock in, they don't come undone. So you shouldn't have leaks in your boats ever. So again, Flow-Rite's considered best in the industry. We want to be the best in the industry, so we use Flow-Rite. So that goes into every boat, no matter if it's a hunting boat or Storm Cat. Flow-Rite is the units that we use. Also, our wiring harnesses, we buy them from a third party. Every wiring harness is 100% quality inspected before it leaves. It goes through to make sure all the circuits work. And once they have the quality stamp on it, they're shipped to Tennessee or the Arkansas plant. Once they're installed in the boat goes through a 100-step quality inspection. that ties 100% to the serial of the boat, and we can have traceability from the beginning to the end, who touched every part of the boat. If we get a call from a customer, we also have about 50 pictures of every boat prior to leaving, and it has a history of the quality inspections. So every critical characteristic of the boat is 100% checked out on the iPad with documentation and pictures showing the verification is complete. One of my favorite parts about what we do here at Excel is the quality inspections. And we strive to do more and more so that every boat we make is better than the one before. So again, the 100-point inspection, we document that on the iPad. We take the sales order, the quality inspector goes through every aspect of the sales order to verify that it matches and that everything is included as required. Our quality inspection even goes down to the lug nuts on the trailer to make sure that they're tight before they leave the plant. All the plumbing and all the electrical is 100% verified that it works as intended prior to leaving the plant. Again, when we get the boat to the dealer, to the customer, we want them just to add fuel to it and hit the road. I hope you've enjoyed the tour here at Excel, Tennessee, and we appreciate all you do for us buying our boats, and hope that you enjoy them, whether they come from Arkansas or from the Tennessee facility.
Well, I sure hope that y'all enjoyed that little footage of getting a tour of the Excel plant. I'm gonna get back to this fishing. I ain't had any luck yet. It's really, really hot. But anyway, thank you for watching. And like always, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up and click that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.